welcome back to the Farlight Relay. I had a story come to mind while I was tossing and turning last night. Back when I was 19, maybe 20, I spent close to a year on Morrow Relay training for freight certification. And training's probably too generous a word for it. Mostly, they taught you how not to die tired, how to correct drift without oversteering, how to dock half asleep, how to stay calm when systems started failing one piece at a time. The rest, the lanes taught you themselves. Most people there were young. Kids trying to get out system for the first time. Everybody talking too loud in the mess halls because they still believed movement meant freedom. There was one man there named Ellis, older than the rest of us by a good 10 years or so. Quiet, not unfriendly, just distant in a way I didn't understand back then. Like, part of him was always listening to something further away than the room he was standing in. I remember one night a few of us were sitting along the outer maintenance gantry, watching traffic lights drift through the relay fog. Cargo haulers coming in from the Lumen Verge lanes. Most trainees talked about pay rates, contracts, which routes had the shortest turnaround windows, but Ellis mostly asked questions. How far the old relay lines extended past Cassium? Whether anyone still manually navigated the outer corridors near Quiet Reach? If anybody had ever seen the abandoned relays still transmitting after shutdown. Stuff like that. I remember asking him why he cared so much about dead routes, and he smiled a little. Not happy, just polite. And he said, because somebody built them believing people would need each other forever. And the funny thing is, I didn't really hear him when he said it. Not truly. At that age, you think loneliness belongs to older people. You think it arrives with age like rust. You don't realize some people have already been carrying it half their lives. Ellis graduated a few months ahead of me, took freight work, running long-haul supply between the outer Cassium corridors and Verge traffic. And then one night, every open comm station on Morrow started filling with chatter all at once. Not panic exactly, just that particular tension people get when something unusual starts moving through the system. Controllers trying to raise a vessel that had drifted off regulated lane guidance. Instructors leaving offices, cadets gathering around the terminals pretending not to eavesdrop. And then somebody read the ship ID aloud. It was Ellis. I still remember that feeling in my stomach when I heard it. Not shock. Something worse than shock. Like recognition. Like some part of me understood immediately that he'd been leaving for a very long time. Traffic control kept trying to vector him back toward regulated space, and every few minutes his voice came across the room, calm. God, that's the part I still remember most clearly. He sounded calm, not drunk, not frantic, not confused, just tired, in a way I don't think I understood until much later in life. One of the controllers asked him if he understood he was passing beyond mapped freight corridors, and Ellis said, I know. That was it. No speech, no explanation, just those two words. Afterward, everybody wanted reasons. Mechanical failure, isolation sickness, nervous collapse. And the official report settled on navigational malfunction, if I remember right. But sometimes I still think about the way he used to ask about the old relay lines. Like he was searching for a place where the noise finally stopped. No distress beacon was ever found. No debris either. Just silence past the outer relays. And every now and then, I catch myself wondering whether there was a conversation I should have had with him back at the gantry. Some sentence that might have anchored him here a little longer. Though, truthfully, I think some people drift away long before anyone notices they're gone. Anyway, this is Beck, and you're listening to the Farlight Relay. Keep somebody company out there tonight, if you can.